Da, da, da.
Welcome back, everyone, to this week's episode of Fans of the Band Inside the Westlake Marching Band podcast. We are excited that we have made it to our 12th episode. We keep moving on. We have such interesting guests week after week. Erin, who are we talking to this week?
We are talking to the fundraising chair for Westlake Marching Band and Westlake Concert Band, Julie Guillot.
This is going to be a really great episode, everybody. You're going to learn so much. There's just some really interesting information that she's going to share with us. But there is a little bit of something we wanted to mention, right?
Well, I want to say something before we head there.
Yes.
I cannot believe we have done 12 episodes.
Yes.
And we really did just start this for our own fun and amusement.
I know.
And we have had so much fun and amusement and laughter from this. And I've been so impressed with how willing people are to talk with us on our show and the vast array of people that we've had, because I thought we were going to be desperate and we were just going to be discussing amongst ourselves.
Right.
But we've had the show writer of the music, and we've had a BOA judge, and we've had volunteers, and we've had all the band directors.
And the guard.
And the guard director and
Right.
the weatherman.
Right. Like just all these people who were involved. It's so cool.
And they're all seemingly excited to talk to us.
Right?
That makes it even more fun.
It's a really great community, isn't it? Don't you think?
Yes. And so I
Yeah.
think we're going to have to continue and have a second season. And I think next week we should pose to Mr. Turpin the idea of following through the creation of their show this year.
Yeah.
And then the spring reveal.
That would be really awesome, wouldn't it?
So not every
That's a great
week,
idea.
but like a monthly update.
Yeah, I like that idea.
And we still have to talk to our woodwind players and our drum majors and
There's
our
a lot of
percussion
people
players.
still to talk to.
So we'll just
Yeah.
end the weekly business because marching season is now over. But we will just keep on
Sadly.
here and there adding episodes. So
Yeah.
if you want to know when those come out, you have to follow us.
Please do. Please
because
follow
if
us.
you don't follow us, then you have to go and look for yourself.
Right. So much easier to follow us. Please do. All right. So kind of getting back to this episode, I just wanted to mention that as we're speaking with our guest today, it does take a slight turn with one of the questions that Erin and I did not know was going to happen. Do we want to tell the guests?
I think
Or the
that everybody
listeners?
can just listen, but
Yeah.
do be prepared. It was a little harder than we were planning.
Yes, it was. So, but it is a really fantastic episode. Just thinking about all the people involved and all the work involved in fundraising to make sure that the band can do all the things that they want to do. It was fascinating.
It was. And I also want to give a lot of kudos to Julie Guillot for making such greatness
Right?
out of such tragedy.
So amazing. So listeners, we hope you really enjoy this episode and take a look at the program notes as well. I think you'll find that you might want to take a look at what's there and potentially contribute. So, all right, listen to this episode. Thanks.
Hey everyone, we are in the band office with the fundraiser chair, Julie Guillot, who has raised thousands and thousands of dollars for Westlake Band.
I'm really interested in hearing all the information today.
I am
It's
too.
going to be great. Okay, so we are going to start with the rapid fire questions. Are you ready? Here we go.
Shoot.
Where did you go to high school?
Rockwall High School up in Rockwall, Texas, home of the Fighting Yellow Jackets.
Were you in band?
Yes, I was for 2 years in high school.
What instrument did you play?
Clarinet,
Oh, wow. Where did you go to college?
Texas A&M,
Okay.
Giga Maggie's.
Okay. You see what I'm wearing today. Were you in the band in college?
No, I wasn't, because at that time only men were allowed in the band. But during my time, the first women entered the Aggie band.
Do you still play an instrument or your instrument?
No.
No?
I just enjoy watching others who do.
Awesome. What was your degree?
Interestingly, my degree was in civil engineering.
Okay.
Yes.
And now, is that your job or profession?
I have never worked as a civil engineer other than an intern. When I graduated college, I went to work for a company called Accenture, one of the one of the top consulting firms in the United States, and worked in high-tech consulting, and then was a high-tech executive at companies like Dell.
Oh, wow. Okay. What year is your student?
So I have two. I had a son, I have a son who actually graduated last year and went off to college. And although he's studying engineering, he continues in college band, concert band. And then my daughter is a junior and she's in the color guard.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. And how many years have you been chair of fundraising for Westlake Band?
Well, I've been involved. This is my 4th year to have very heavy involvement in fundraising. I've been VP of fundraising for Westlake Band parents for 3 years.
Are you going to do it again next year?
I am, but we definitely need to train up a successor so that we can continue to fuel the band.
Awesome. Okay. I think we made it through.
I think we just call this fire again.
I know. I know.
That's
I think
okay.
So. That's okay. We still learned a lot. So that was fun. Mm-hmm. So, speaking of volunteering, what was your first volunteer position with the band? Was it with fundraising or something else?
My first volunteering was in fundraising a little bit. We had this little tiny program where you could buy gift cards and
I remember that program.
Raise money for your band students' travel account. But due to some legalities, because we used the program to raise money for individual student accounts, it wasn't really right for that application.
Okay.
And so we discontinued that program in lieu of other programs.
Got it. And how did you get into the fundraising aspect?
If you want to know, if you want me to be completely truthful,
We do.
you want me to tell the truth?
Yes. Let's hear it.
One word, Vandegrift.
Oh,
Okay. Tell us more. This is exciting.
My son was like a freshman and sophomore. I mean, if anybody remembers the Westlake Band, years ago, our props were pretty basic, and probably marching band wasn't our top priority. If I were to, it had not evolved to the level that, most Westlake parents, we expect as Westlake for whatever, we like to win. I think we're spoiled by a lot of the teams and the extracurriculars that we have on our campus. And I was just kind of a little surprised. And I was like, oh, man, we need to, up the game. And so that was a time that the fundraiser, I remember I was sitting in my car and she came, the band president came, was telling me something. I'm like, I don't even know if we should say this on the. I said, we need a Chap Vandergriff initiative. And it's kind of one of those things where it's like, be careful what you ask for, because in the next sentence as well, you want to get involved with fundraising next year?
Yeah, there you go. That makes sense.
And
Okay.
so got involved in fundraising, and it really was a very good fit for me with some of my background. Also, I'm a very competitive person, and so in the prior year, before I got involved, we had raised, I think, if I'm accurate, around $35,000. And then that next year, we raised well over $80,000. And from there, it's been climbing every year. And we really blew it out this year due to some things that I can talk about. But yeah, that was my inspiration, was sort of helping our marching band to evolve, because our concert band is really nationally recognized, won all the awards, all the stuff. And so that's kind of what got me into it, is my little competitive nature.
hey, whatever.
Hey,
Whatever
yeah.
works. You've been successful at it.
It sounds like the band raises a different amount every year. Is
Every
there sort of a kind of a standard or a goal you set each
Yes.
year to try to meet?
Every year, yes.
And so what is that?
And so the fundraising it's almost like a pie,
Okay.
if you will. So, the power, and fundraising is really, funding is the fuel in the band. Band doesn't do anything without the fuel. Okay. The buses stay in the parking lot. The truck never goes anywhere. So the funding comes from really 3 different areas. One is however much the district can throw in the pot based on their budget. Now, for Westlake, 64% of Eanes tax revenue goes to other schools through recapture. So everybody might think that Westlake is just swimming in money, whereas we really are not. That money is redistributed to other schools. So one big piece of the pie is however much the district throws in. Then the other piece of the pie are student fees. And the band director really, I think, helps to determine, and Eanes, what the student fees are.
And that's
for
like the
this
amount that the
extracurricular-
parent pays each year.
It's a check
right?
they write at the
Right.
beginning of the year. The last part is the flexible part, and that is how much the Westlake Band Parents Booster Club raises every year. We are the gap fillers. So the parents really stand in the gap, and whatever that number is, we work to meet and exceed. I work to exceed it every year. And so that's really how the total fundraising pie works. Now, I think everybody listening may know Mr. Taylor, our previous band director. Being the competitive person that I was in my first year as VP, I really sat down with him before the season started, and I wanted to know what were his key barriers. And not to have any preconceived notion of a budget. What were the things that he needed to make us more successful as a band? And I didn't care what the number was. And, in that year with the band president also, I think he was able to outline some key pain points. So the band parents were really able to swarm that. Other bands can tell you, man, we didn't have a truck for the longest time. We were rolling around in like rental vehicles.
I remember.
I think people were pointing and laughing. Westlake's and box trucks. Our band president really and other parents stepped up with the school board to help meet that need and help get that, truck pushed across the finish line. And there were some other things we needed, like storage and different things, upgraded props. And so we were able to really build a budget for that and go to the parents. I will tell you one thing about Westlake parents. They're probably a lot like me, a little competitive. And when you present them with a goal, I know every year I'm scared about the fundraising number. But every year the Westlake parents teach me that we are Westlake and we always get it done. So as long as you can really explain, what the need is, the parents and the community really steps up.
Did you have any prior experience with fundraising before you started fundraising with the band?
Interestingly, this is going to take an unexpected turn for you guys, so
No
just
worries.
hold on.
That's fine.
So I actually lost my oldest son to leukemia in 2014. And using my skills that I had developed, just my whole background, really what was my job? I really was a professional problem solver. That's really what engineers are anyway. And so I really got involved in childhood cancer funding, fundraising. But more than that, understanding the key barriers to progress and helping to remove those barriers, because some of the things that stand in our way are quite unexpected. And so I worked to raise several $1 million for my son's type of leukemia that actually led to development of a new therapy that has actually put 3 kids into remission.
Wow.
They just started a clinical trial.
Oh, wow.
But that's sort of my background. I have learned a lot in the cancer fundraising space. And I bring that to Westlake, to this role. But interestingly, some of the things I learned in this role also helped me in the childhood cancer space. This whole community has really taught me, more about fundraising and more of what works and what doesn't work, tools, fundraising tools that I've had to learn to do this job. So it's really kind of a synergistic thing.
Well, I just want to take a minute and say thank you for sharing all of that. I really appreciate that. It did take a little bit of a turn, and I'm sorry for your loss, but thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate it. Okay. going back to, I feel like I need to say something else, but I guess not.
Who would have thought?
I know it seems kind of crazy.
I
going right
wasn't.
back
I
to
wasn't
the
prepared
band.
for that turn
Yeah,
either.
I know, but so thank you.
Yes.
So, how much about does the band raise every year? What's the goal for next year? Do you have a goal already?
We don't have a goal for next year, but I can kind of tell you that the fundraising goal is really, again, set based on the needs and the goals of the band.
So, what kind of, I'm going to stop you right there just for a second. What kind of needs does the band have right now?
It varies by year. Like one year, a couple of years ago, we went to the Rose Parade. And so that was a very big year where we had to raise in the neighborhood of $165,000. And, you know, the kids pay a certain part in the district and all that. So that was just the number we needed to reach. I don't have a sense of what the needs are for the coming year, but typically our fundraising, and I was kind of pulling up our website to make sure I don't forget anything, but the Westlake Band Parents Booster Club typically covers things like the air-conditioned charter buses, so we don't have to go to these long competitions on a school bus. We can arrive fresh instead of sweating. You know, we also invest a lot in things like scholarships for kids to make sure all the kids can participate.
Oh, really?
But
Okay.
also, too, private lessons for these kids as well, because I think we all know that private lessons are really, really necessary in a top-tier band. So we help, you know, fill those gaps for kids. Also, you know, there are certain things that our directors need to attend, special meetings, things like that we cover. Anything custom. You know, we fill the gap on the marching season needs. So it could be that we want really elevated props this year or special costumes for the color guard, things like that.
Extra clinicians and
Yes. So the clinicians, composers, you know, show designers, and look, probably the sky's the limit on what you can spend on that. So, you know, our band director, you know, makes those. And, you know, just other things for the kids.
So do you feel like the band directors are really the ones who determine kind of the amount, or because
Yes.
they let you know the needs? And
Yes,
then that
I
kind
think it's a synergistic effort between the band directors. I mean, they are the driving force, but then the Westlake Band parents, because we have a budget every year of things that we do or want to do. And between the two, we come up with a number. And, you know, I think this past year there was a big focus on private lessons at the middle school and the high school level to really kind of up the musical game of all of our students.
of, okay.
So that was kind of a special focus area. Can't tell you what next year's focus area will be.
It could be, right. It could be a little different.
But I'll be getting in his face soon. Saying, what
Yes.
do we need for next year?
time to start planning.
Yep.
When does that timeline start?
You know, really, the timeline kind of starts, it almost starts as early as you want, but really the number is set a little bit before the school year ends. So while everybody's going on vacation, Julie and fundraising is getting going. So while everyone's on the beach, they start getting emails from me over the summer. But you really have to kind of tee up the fundraising and set everything up for the moment that our band comes back for registration day and before band camp starts.
You want people giving when they're excited.
Yes.
Not when they're tired of the season.
And that's too, we really need the cash up front for those expenses. And so really the bulk of my focus, all my focus really is on the fall fundraising, which really encompasses our direct giving program, which we call our patron program. We reach out to all the parents with particular goals. And then our fan pledge call-a-thon, which is where our students help us reach out to their extended family and all their friends. So those are kind of two key components that we focus on.
Okay.
Do you focus on any corporate sponsors?
Yes, we do. We really did double down this year because we have a big expensive trip this year. Again, I'm always freaked out at the beginning of oh my God, I don't know if we're going to make it. So we really focused on sponsors this year and really put together tight sponsorship packages, which anybody can see, online. If they look at our Give Butter site, Give Butter Westlake sponsorships, they can probably find it. Our Shat Band sponsorships. We really focused on that. There are really kind of two flavors of sponsorships. One, we get a lot of band parents that step up that own businesses, which is terrific. And so we really did well on that. But we really, really, too, focused on going out and getting non-band parent-owned sponsors. Like some of our top sponsors were Straight Music here in Austin.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, Access College America, Benchmark Bank, Jennifer Walden Plastic Surgery. I mean, we had, and then P. Terry's, the burger joint, gave us a couple of spirit nights, and they kind of rose. So we really did well on our sponsorships this year, and it'll continue to be a focus area.
Okay.
But I will say it's a heck of a lot easier to get sponsors if you're the football team or robotics. I'll tell you who really.
Oh,
Really?
they haul in the
They haul it
sponsors.
in.
Really?
Yes, they get 3M and Dell and
everything.
everybody.
Yes. And so it's a little more challenging for the band. So we are extra grateful to our sponsors because, it's not as easy to get sponsors for the band. So we're really grateful.
My son was like, "Oh my word! I just saw a Flower Mound raised $897,000 last year. Granted, they spent $842 or something like
Right.
that. But do you ever? That feels like an enormous amount, but their band is way bigger than ours too. So do you ever consult with any other bands around that are our size? And what kind of things are they raising? And are we asking for extra? Are we not asking enough? You know what I mean?
Right. So I thought a lot, this was the question that you guys kind of sent to me that really jumped off the page. And there's a couple of different answers. Number one, like you said, I mean, this really is a little bit apples to oranges.
Right.
Remember the funding pie?
Yes.
How much Flower Mound's district puts in, how many fees they, charge their students versus how much they, quote, raise. That is going to be unique to them. I wonder if that number ties to their Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade appearance.
It very well might because
That's to me, that's a huge number. Maybe our total revenues, our biggest fundraisers are, I talked about the patron program. That's a direct outreach ask to parents. That raises a lot this year, around $100,000. That with our sponsorships, $100,000. And then our fan pledge call-a-thon really rocked this year, and we were well over 60,000, maybe 65,000 with our fan pledge. Maybe 35, 40,000. Again, I'm not the treasurer, so I'm ballparking right now. 35 to 40,000 around selling football program ads. And then we have this one's tough for me because I don't do this one, but we sell mulch every spring. And that is definitely like in the 40 to 60,000 range. So, and those are our main sources of income. And then this year we implemented a software called Double the Donation, where we prompt our donors to get corporate matching for their gifts. And I think that's been fairly successful as well. That's kind of what we raised. That's not near 840,000. Their band is twice as big as ours. And, I don't know, but their school may be very different from ours. When I think about Westlake, I could be wrong, but I look at us as a very academic, super academic. Our robotics team is one of the top in the world. Our extracurriculars, our business incubator is constantly rocking it. We have all these things at our school, academic-wise, that are really top shelf. Even our video tech team.
it is amazing.
It puts on full, football broadcasts. And I would argue we're a sports school. So our
Yes.
band and our fine arts are very good, but I'm going to guess at some place like Vandergrift, Hebron, Flower Mound, they are in it to win it every year for band. And they're going to do whatever it takes and whatever that number is. It starts with the band's goals and their sort of mission and vision. And then that translates to a plan, tactical, strategic plan. And then, the thing that makes the plan go, only one part of it is money. I've actually looked into this. It's just the way they structure their program.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess
lot
it's
of
a little
things.
more exclusive than inclusive, We don't play, our football team does not play everybody. They're playing the top 22 guys, and that could
Yes.
change if you don't have a good game. I think that their programs are probably structured a bit differently. And so, yeah, it's just a little bit apples to oranges. My position, our band director gives us a plan. I guarantee you Westlake's going to make it happen, whatever the plan is.
We also only get 5 buses per trip, not 10.
Yeah.
So I think that makes a difference too. That's a lot of
Probably.
bus money.
Yeah.
Sure is.
Yeah.
So I was just shocked by the number. I was like, wow. Whoever does their fundraising, that is a phenomenal amount to raise. Especially, I don't know, this was their public tax filing. I don't even know why my son was looking at it. But
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know too. How their fees are, their band fees
No,
are
I
structured,
don't.
or the district funding, or anything.
and we have that fee where you pay and you don't get any of the money.
Right.
No matter what extracurricular you're in, you have a fee. And the district just takes it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody knows where it goes.
Yeah.
Let's talk about like the patrons and the donors. So what kind of perks and packages do you get for different levels here?
Well, anybody that wants to see that, you can go to our website, westlakeband.org, and it will link to, we actually use a tool called Give Butter, which we just implemented this year to really make our fundraising.
Sorry to interrupt
Go
you.
ahead.
Did you say give butter?
Give Butter.
Not better, but butter.
Butter. Give
Okay,
Butter.
just clarifying, because that's what I thought I heard the first time you said it.
It's
and
a
I was like,
software
wait a minute.
package where you can load in all your contacts, and it sets up a fundraising page. We've really had a good experience with it. I think that thing has really helped us with our fundraising. There must be something about it that's easier for people to kind of click and go through it. You can pay with just about any payment mechanism you could possibly dream of, including check, donor advised funds, Apple Pay, Venmo. I mean, anything you can imagine, you can pay with it.
So I get it. It's because the process is
Yes,
smooth like
yes.
butter.
Yeah, it's
Okay. Got
Yes.
it. Got it.
Yes. And then also, I think I talked about how we integrated Give Butter with Double the Donation so that our donors are prompted they can just look right there and see if their company matches, and they can apply for corporate matching. And I think, anybody that's listening to, I didn't know this, but, many companies offer volunteer hours matching.
Yes.
So they'll pay you $20 an hour or more for your volunteer hours.
Our scout troop did that a
Yes.
lot.
Yes. And so, all these different little trickles of money, they just add up.
Yeah, we
And
bought
so-
a new van in our scout troop with just the paid volunteers
Really?
and corporate matching. It was amazing.
I mean, I'll just go off the top of my head. For our top level donors, we definitely recognize them at football games, on the scoreboard, and via announcements, and all throughout the year. We give them an opportunity to conduct the band if they want to.
Oh, really?
It's fun, but a
that's
lot
so
of people I
neat.
think are too shy to do it.
Uh-huh.
But it is fun. We still offer it. We offer reserved seats at all of our concerts. Some of our top level donors get band merch that they can take a pick from. I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but we have a lot of perks, and people can look on our website.
Is that something that is unique to Westlake, or do you feel like other bands do that as well, like offer those kinds of perks and
I think
things?
all bands do that now.
I like the conducting thing, though.
Yeah.
I really do.
I don't know about that one. I know that professional orchestras offer that.
Really?
I've played under many purchased conducting
Really?
opportunity.
Oh, okay. I feel like that's something I would like to do, so I'm going to have to donate to
At
the
least
band.
you would know where the one is.
Yes, I would. I do know that.
The last time I played something, I was kind of glad it was a piece I wasn't playing. I was just sitting on the stage.
Mm-hmm.
I think everybody had to like put blinders on because the man
no.
who was doing it, I don't think he had a sense of a beat.
Okay.
It was crazy.
But one thing I will say about the perks is that they are a lot to manage. And so it really is nice if you can have somebody that's dedicated, that's their job, is dedicated to fulfillment of these perks.
Does Westlake have a person that is
Yes.
dedicated?
Yeah, a band parent this year, Jenny Leon, has stepped up to do that. But it can be a little bit to manage, Every time we have a concert, got to reach out. Where do you want to sit? And make sure all our seats are reserved and that sort of thing. But we do have quite a few perks, and people can find it on westlakeband.org under Support the Band. And then look at our patron program and our sponsor program.
So let's say that there's somebody listening right now that has their own company and they would love to sponsor the Westlake Band. How would they go about doing that?
So they can just contact us directly, fundraising at westlakeband.org, or again, go to our website, westlakeband.org.
Ooh, I know another way.
Oh,
They can send us an email in our Yahoo email that we have, and we
That's
could get a
right.
hold of them. We
That
would
is
not
right.
get a hold of the person. We would forward it to the correct people.
Yes. So listeners, if you are interested in sponsoring the band, you can reach out to us at fansoftheband.whs@yahoo.com.
Because we really, really want more email.
We really do. I wish there was someone who would just, give us a shout out. Ask us a question. I would love that.
and I would say this too. If there are other bands that are listening, now you might not want to help the Westlake Band, but if you have any cool ideas that you want to share with us, like I said before, we do our patron program, direct outreach to parents. We do sponsorships, mulch sales, football program ad sales. I think I mentioned sponsorships. And our fan pledge call-a-thon. If you have any unique ideas that have really worked for your band, please email. And, if you want to share, because we're always open to ideas.
Yeah.
What do you feel like is the best, most lucrative fundraiser that you've done?
Well, our top performer is consistently our patron program, which is direct outreach and appeal to the band parents. It's really interesting, how that came to be, because in my first year, I remember coming through registration day, and there was the fundraising table, and they just asked me to donate. And I remember exactly where I had my checkbook out, and I'm like, well, how much do people usually donate? And they didn't really have a number for me, and so I just gave like $200. The only thing that I changed, and to me, this is a secret to our success, is that we start with the band director and start with that budget and that goal. And then I take that goal, we figure out what the funding gap is. Remember the district and the fees?
Yes.
What's that third slice of the pie? What's that gap? The red zone. And so that number varies every year. I think the gap this year was $548 a student. And so I just take the total number, I divide it by the total number of students, and I communicate to the band parents that we need to close the gap of $548 a student. And so that's how I construct my patron giving levels every year. My top one, we have sort of the typical, how bands have the director level and the composer level. Well, I came up with two additional ones. One was the close the gap number, and one was the pay it forward number.
Okay.
And those are two very popular categories. So you still have your standard director level 2,500 and then it bumps into, there's a pay it forward, and that's double the gap. So you pay for your kid and another kid. People love that. They love that in Westlake. And then the Close the Gap level is just that $548. And again, that will change every year depending on what the need is. And I remember the first year I did that, people were like, well, you just need to make that a round number. It's like, no, I like it being a really weird number. Because our Close the Gap.
People are like, oh, that's like a legitimate number.
Yes.
They mean that.
Yeah. So, I think if there's one thing I want to share with everybody is, figure out what your gap is, divide it by the total number of students. That's your Close the Gap number. And then offer another level that's a pay it forward, where you pay for your kid and somebody else. It's worked really well here.
I really like that idea. Okay, so now what is your favorite fundraiser that you've done? And I'd like to open this up, not just to what you've done at Westlake, but maybe with your other.
My favorite, the most fun fundraiser is the fan pledge. We call it the call-a-thon. Actually, we should probably rebrand it because that sounds like a drudgery. Call-a-thon, like a marathon. But the fan pledge event, I will say this, how do we really work it? One, we go full bore with the patron sponsor program right out of the gates at registration day. And we try to raise as much as we possibly can via direct giving, direct to the parents, direct to sponsors, and they give. But it's interesting because inevitably every single year we kind of hit a ceiling. We had about half of the parents gave 75% of our money. We were 75% of goal. You just don't reach everybody. Everybody's busy, or maybe they can't give right then, or whatever it is. So we try to get as direct, money as we can with little fees, right? It goes all to the bottom line. We can kind of get to like 90, 100 grand with that. The Fan Pledge Call-a-thon has really been an instrumental tool to close our remaining goal. So this year's remaining goal, we had raised about 100 grand through patrons and sponsors. We needed 25,000 more, and we used the call-a-thon or the Fan Pledge event. That is the most energetic, fun. I don't know if the students love it, but it's really effective because who wants to tell a band student no?
Right?
No one. But Fan Pledge, I will brag on them. They have a very powerful software. They have a process and a software package that just really gets it done. The thing runs for 3 weeks, or software runs for 3 weeks, and it really helps us to really get that final little bit that we need. And it's probably reaching at that point. Remember, we had only gotten about 50% of parents to give. It's really helping us get to probably near 100%. I'll do the math. I'll try to figure that out this year, but it just penetrates a little bit deeper. And our call-a-thon Fan Pledge event really focuses on extended family and friends, and then also parents who haven't yet given. And it's just a great tool for us to help us just get across the finish line. And it just blew out this year. And a hint to everyone who uses this, Mr. Turpin, our band director, he's going to get a fundraising award this year because he really, really nudged the band students on loading their contacts ahead of the call-a-thon and just really, really pushed on that and incentivized on that. And that was the real difference this year. I mean, we just blew the lid off this year. Yeah.
So mentioned
contacts loading is a key lever.
You also mentioned Mr. Turpin, and I know that there was some sort of incentive, something he was going to do connected to fundraising. Can y'all tell me a little bit more about that?
He was going to spend the night on the tower over by the ball fields.
Yeah.
That's right. Because when we were speaking with
Avery.
Yes, he was talking about
I can say
that.
his whole name, Avery Tomasco.
Very good. Thank you, Erin. So good job. Good job.
Well, I couldn't get his last name out on the interview.
Yeah, with the Fan Pledge Call-a-thon, for every $10,000 that the students raise, there's an award of sorts.
Oh, okay.
I think some of them have lost their mustaches.
Yeah,
and beards.
there's been some director, head, and facial hair type shaving.
Oh,
There's been
okay.
band director needs to wear a costume if they haven't already on the field.
Yes.
And so kind of the highest level was Mr. Turpin sleeping
Spend the
on
night on the tower.
Yes.
And so is that going to happen?
I think I heard it's going to be this Friday.
Oh,
He can download this and listen while he's up there.
that's true.
He better bring some warm clothes. He always likes to, one of the rewards too is that they get to do the ice bucket on the
Yes.
band directors. Which
Oh,
they've-
goodness.
Well, last year, when you put these things off, you end up in the winter. So last year, he kept putting it off, and then they got to get doused in 30-degree weather.
Oh, my.
With the ice bucket. So now, he
This
gets to
year
spend
they-
the night on the tower when it's freezing cold again.
They did the ice bucket in August this year.
Yeah.
You hit that goal fast. He must have made that the first goal.
That would have felt really nice in August, though. I mean,
But yeah, the two things, with the fan pledge definitely are load the contacts and have the incentives for your students, the really fun incentives. But you do need to be aware that while fan pledge is powerful, they do charge fees. Now, in this case, to us, the fees are worth it. I have thought about, well, why don't you just do your whole fundraising on the fan pledge, and that would be so much easier. But it would eat up too much in fees. And two, not everyone can give in a 3-week window. They need a longer runway because there's just so much that parents have to pay for at the beginning of the year. You need to give them a nice long runway and not just a 3-week window to give. So for us, it's just been a good combination of a 1-2 punch. Patron sponsor plus the fan pledge. And I know a number of bands do a lot more fundraising through fan pledge, but for us, we just try to raise the most we can ourselves, free of the fees, and then use them for the final push.
And then everybody in the Westlake area should be buying mulch.
They can go ahead and submit their email to be on the mailing list at
And you can
mulch at
have those-
westlakeband.org.
There's cute band kids. Drop it all off for you.
right?
Yeah, mulch at westlakeband.org. And that happens in the springtime. Yeah, but you can go ahead and get your name on the list now.
About how many band parents help with the fundraising, meaning not just donating, but I mean, actually help you kind of with organizing and doing all the fundraising events and everything.
Yeah, so I have a team of 4 people this year.
Okay.
The fundraising is really kind of heavy, hands-on computer work, Excel spreadsheets, software, newsletters, all that stuff.
I would
And
be
so
the worst volunteer
So
in this area.
I do the bulk of it. We've got to do like the scoreboard slides for the football games. And I just, over the past years, I've learned all the people. I have the slide. Very much of the bulk of it happens with me. But we do have Jenny Leone, who has helped with the donor appreciation, which is all the benefits, and she'll continue. And then we have a couple other guys, Tim Marwell and Charles Fifield. They help with the events and also with corporate sponsorships, spirit nights, things like that.
And so if somebody really is fascinated and interested in fundraising after listening to our podcast, do they just go to the website and reach out about helping out, or how does that work?
Yeah, if there are any Westlake parents that are interested in fundraising, definitely you can probably find me at any events, but fundraising at westlakeband.org is how they can get in contact. And I will say this, I definitely need a successor. And we need a fundraising VP-elect next year so they can see how everything works. I would wish that somebody comes in here and they might change everything that I do and make it 100 times better. I would love that. But this is a critical role. We have,
Yes, it is.
It is the fuel for the band, and we need a parent or parents to step up and fill, the shoes because, next year is my last year with the senior. I think my proudest moment was when we went to the Rose Parade, I think a couple of years ago. The number was just, we had never raised that amount of money. for us. I think it was 165,000, which has never been close to that. I was like, oh my gosh, how are we going to do that? But I can tell you that we worked really hard, but the community as a whole really stepped up. We really had huge sponsorship, even, television appearances on our local stations, all the stuff. We have to keep the fundraising going. And the main skills are, all the computer skills and all that, but it's also, to me, a passion for the band. And I will say that, when I came in, I remember my first registration day. They were like, don't you want to buy a hat and a show shirt? And they were like trying to get me to get a sailor hat because the show was like adrift. And I was just thinking, there's no way I'm doing that.
I have never purchased a show shirt or a hat.
So I will say that the band really pulled me in. It is an amazing program. I know it is at other schools as well, but the very first concert, I was like, holy cow, these guys are unbelievable. And I can say now that my first son is in college and how the band helped him, it's just unbelievable. If I can share a quick story, I know I'm talking your ears off.
Please do. Please do.
My son, like I said, he studies engineering, and he was in an AP physics test. And this test was insane. It was literally all day. And I think they had like a 30-minute lunch break. I'm like, Jake, this is terrible. How did you? And I know physics. I studied in college. It's hard. I'm like, how did you survive that? He's like, Mom, this was nothing compared to band. Band prepared me. He's gone to college now, and he's going to a notoriously hard school studying engineering. And he's just like, band prepared me for the hard. College, at least right now, knock on wood, hear me knocking on wood. He's like, college is easier than Westlake and easier than band.
Well,
but I think that it just... it makes you smarter, your performance under pressure, and I think it really makes you tough and gritty, and I really appreciate what band has done, and color guard, because we have a really elite color guard. They're working right now. Marching season just ended, and they're in 3-night-long rehearsals auditioning for Winter Guard. So it makes them tough, and it's good getting up in the morning. I tell my kids when I'm driving them at night in the dark in the morning, I'm like, this is so good. They're used to getting up, and getting busy, even when they don't feel like it. That's good.
It is good for them. It builds them that feeling that, I have to be there. And when they go to college and they're like, I don't want to go to class. But I have to get up and go.
Yeah.
Kind of that same inner drive.
Okay, so we're going to switch gears just a tiny bit.
I want to say something.
Please do.
You said that band kind of sucked you in. And as a parent, even though I teach just across the hall from the band and I see the band every year, I personally had never really been involved in the band until this year. And I so regret that because it has been so much fun. I have really enjoyed talking with this podcast and talking to all the band volunteers and working with all the people. And it is just, as a volunteer, it is so much fun to be part of. I just wanted to say that again. I think I say that every time we talk to volunteers.
I'm wild, I'm just wild every year. Concert season, I'm wild by it all. And they work so hard.
They do.
And, all the bands are incredible. Oh. Even Vandergrift.
I know, right? They are. You're great, Vandergrift.
Don't send me emails. Y'all send me your fundraising secrets.
That's right.
So we do know that you've chaperoned several trips as well. What is your favorite band memory from chaperoning those trips?
Oh, I started a story and I didn't even finish it about the Rose Parade.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Well, I'm going to have a confessional, and all the band parents and volunteers know this, that the only trip that I've ever chaperoned was the Rose Parade. And it's so funny because it was around the Christmas season. And, you do all the shopping, you're running around. And when the plane took off, I feel this like pain in my throat. And I'm like, oh no. So the only trip that I chaperoned was a Rose Parade, and I was sick most of the time. My favorite moment was, and my favorite feeling of accomplishment was seeing them march. Seeing them march down the boulevard in that parade. I was begging God, I'm like, please, just let me be well for the day of the Rose Parade so that I can see them. And that I was really, proud of that moment. And they looked so good and they sounded great. And yeah, that was a really fond moment for me. I think I'm a better fundraiser than I'm a chaperone after my Rose Parade experience. There's even more than that, but I won't bore you with the details.
We all have our skills.
Yeah, I fell down and bruised a rib. It's just unbelievable. So yeah, my favorite chaperoning was the Rose Parade. I'm an old parent, so I'll focus on the fundraising. Everybody else is young and they can handle the 1 and 2 a.m. arrivals on the bus.
Oh, goodness. Yeah.
I'm super happy to not chaperone. I was going to do the Hawaii trip. And
Super kudos to the chaperones. I mean,
Right?
they're unbelievable, what they do. And it's high stress, man. The wind is blowing. The props are flopping over. All this year, they were rolling one, and they hit like a pothole on the field, and the cart wasn't moving.
Oh, no.
And I was in the stands going, oh, no. But they pulled it out and got the props. I mean, just all the bands. The parents are amazing in what they do and the level of commitment that they have.
I want to tell you, since I've been posting about band on Facebook, I have so many marching band Facebook posts that come through. And remember, we talked about props and what happens to props?
Yes.
And somebody had a picture of a band and they're like, hey, I think I painted that best stage ever 3 years ago. So a different band
neat?
had purchased their prop. They didn't repaint it because it was so awesome.
Well, this gives me hope for the cake that we're going to eventually make, because
That's
then
right.
I'm sure it'll be just reused and reused.
Everybody's going to want a cake.
They really are.
I almost forgot to tell you that. It was so they recognize their
That is so neat.
props.
So that's more about fundraising than you ever wanted to know.
No, actually, it was a great amount. I was really fascinated with that. I don't know that I could do that.
No.
I've not ever been a person who could ask. I don't know. It's just hard for me to do. So I like hearing all about it, and I like all the detailed pieces. And then I just love what you were talking about the figuring out what that gap is, and then the paying it forward. I think that's genius.
Well, this is what I will say about the fundraiser. A lot of people are shy to ask. What it requires is that you have to really be passionate about what you're asking about. I would be a terrible fundraiser or salesperson for a product or a project that I didn't believe in. With the childhood cancer, childhood leukemia, I have no problem, asking people, because what these kids go through is unbelievable. And, if they knew half of even a fraction of what they go through, and our challenges I don't have a problem, asking people. And generally they step up. And then for the band, the stories that I told you about my son and my daughter too, just about how it's helped them grow as people. I don't have a problem, because this program is amazing. And it's very clear, even my son in college, it really helped him become a well-rounded, strong individual who was prepared. And then he unexpectedly developed a love of music and the trombone, and continues in his college's concert band. I would never expect that. But I believe in the band program, so it makes it easier to ask.
Is there anything else you want to add
Or tell us about with fundraising?
No,
or not about fundraising?
Yes,
We clearly digress a lot.
we do.
No, I'm very impressed with all the bands in this area. They're inspiring,
They
even
are.
though I did, my Shap Grand Vandergriff initiative. They're just really incredible, and I'm happy to be involved in this entire thing. I would have never thunk it. I would have never thought of myself doing this.
Uh-huh.
But, they did. They sucked me in.
And we're very glad.
Yes, I think the Westlake Band program is very, very appreciative that you've been a part of all of this. So,
Well, like I
Thank
say,
you.
it helps me even in childhood cancer, the things that I learn in this role. So it's a very synergistic thing, and I'm glad that I've been able to help.
well, listeners, we've gotten to that point where I always remind you that if you did not hear an answer that you wanted to hear, or you had some questions that you wanted to ask, please feel free to email us at fansoftheband.whs@yahoo.com. And we appreciate you listening. And thank you again so much for taking the time to talk to us about this. Who knew there was so much involved with the fundraising? It's so fascinating.
I did.
So. You knew? You did. Aaron knew.
I knew
I
there was
didn't.
too much for me.
Too much for you to take part in it, you
Yes.
mean? Yes. I think you were in a good spot where you were volunteering.
I agree.
I mean,
I
yeah,
agree.
Yeah. So thank you again, and we really appreciate it. And listeners, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and that's a wrap. Take care.